let's start at the beginning, right? Uh, Angelo does go over how to draw your sword, right? Your feet are together, hands come to your side, you come out over, point directly at them. At that same time, your back hand is going to come back behind you, your hand's going to be lifted, and then I'm going to get into what I would say is your most used guard. That's going to be carte, right? I'm going to grab 2 fingers up here. I'm trying to relax and let this come back across my hand so that I have a little bit more movement in the wrists and in the elbow so that I can disengage should I need to. My hand is back here. What is this hand used for? One, it's used as a counterbalance, right? When you thrust, it's going to come back. 2, I can sometimes slap away a blade. I'm not going to grab a blade. That is what idiots do to get their fingers cut off. I am going to be able to deflect, right? I am sometimes going to be able to put my hand on the hilt. Anyways, before I get into that whole thing and get even more distracted. So, carte. I'm going to, when I come to carte, my heels are going to be in line with each other. I'm going to have about 2 feet length, right? 1 foot length, another foot length, and then my heel. Between my back foot, my left in this case, because I'm right-handed, and my front foot, right? I'm going to have about an even bend in my knees. A little bit of bend in my front knee, because if I have no bend, I'm leaning back too far, and I'm too back-weighted. Unlike rapier, I don't want to be leaning back too much. I don't want to have too much of a bend in it, though, because then I'm front-weighted. Angelo is a rear-weighted system. I'm trying to lean back. I'm trying to get weight in that back butt cheek. If you're like me and not too much butt cheek, you'll feel it, I promise. It's a good way to build that up, at least. So, unlike when you're doing something with saber or usually old saber or spadroon, I'm not going to have my blade more upright. I'm not going to have my hand lowered. I'm going to be almost flat. Some folks go all the way out. I prefer a little bit of a drop in the hilt because that gives me a little bit less strain on wrist, elbow, and shoulder, in all honesty. So when I'm in carte, when I'm in carte, my fingernails are up. My knuckle bow is going to be to my inside. If you break the body down, outside is going to be here. It's going to be the same size as my sword arm, right? The shoulder and beyond, and the back. Inside is going to be my chest of my opposing arm. So everything. This is the inside of the blade. This is the outside of the blade. Outside of the blade is going to be things on that same side as the sword arm. So my knuckle bow is going to be to the inside. I'm going to be, again, relatively straight. My tip is going to be threatening. You'll hear that said a lot. Your point needs to threaten constantly because it is a thrust weapon. Hand can be up behind you. It can be out here. I kind of go between the two. At this point, I'm still rear weighted. I am ready to attack my opponent. There are a couple things you can do from here. Most notably, Angelo goes over carte over the arm, carte under the arm, which would be second, but we'll get into that later. What would you go from here into tierce, which is your other most commonly used guard? So I'm going to roll my wrist using this this triangular part of the blade to push their blade off. My fingernails are going to be pointed down, still with the point towards them. Notice going between those, my point doesn't change where it's going. It is my hand and wrist that's changing. I'm going between carte, tierce. And then we'll go on from there. I will get a dummy out and we'll actually have a blade so you can see how that interacts. I think that's one of the biggest issues for folks when they're going through things with Angelo is they don't see how one sword and one player interacts with another. So stay tuned for more of that.